Chris, what changes for you with the added responsibility of the corners, and is the room now like 20 guys deep, or do you meet with them separately, or how do you handle it?
We meet together. I meet with all the DBs, corners, safety, stars. So we have one meeting, so it's really the big change. I've got a bunch of help though. Rashad Wadu does a ton with our corners. I've got two guys, Antonio Parks and Connor Boyd, who work with me in the help building meetings and doing off-season studies and things like that from a film standpoint. So I've got a lot of help, but yeah, we have one meeting.
When you had the prominent guys that you do in Kobe and Taim and Jabbar, how different is your secondary? Yes, you lose Kyrie, but you bring in three of the most prominent transfers you guys added in the offseason.
Yes, it's a blessed and fortunate situation, really. All guys have played football at a high level. They played a lot of football, so they've got a lot of experience. It's just different for them now learning our terminology and our system, but it's really a fortunate situation for me. I got guys that play a lot of football, and it's been a challenge. And I've just got to translate it to some things there, because football is the same, right? Just different terminology depending on the team you play for. And so putting it in, making sure they understand what we call things here compared to what they call it at other places. And that's been the challenging part.
Back to your kind of new responsibility. Have you had background before being a DB's coach with the whole room? And so what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've kind of always did that. When I was at McNeese State University, I coached all 5 DBs. That was 2012 to 15. When I was at Tulane in 2018 and 19, I had all the DBs. Actually, when I was the DC at Tulane, I had the entire secondary. I had some guys that worked with me, but we had one DB meeting, and I was the defense coordinator. So I've done it before, so it wasn't the first time. A lot of people do it this way. It's really good as far as everybody being on the same page, one voice. We have guys now that can play multiple positions because we have one meeting, so the terminology and the language that's spoken is the same. So it's kind of easy to move guys around and play different positions.
Is that your preference to do it this way?
Yeah, I mean, yes. If you ask me honestly, yeah, that would be my preference to do it that way. But you can do it both ways. I've done it both, but if you ask me preferably, I would rather do it this way.
What's your relationship like with Rashad? I mean, how does that work on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, great relationship. He and I get together a lot on what we're going to do individual. There's times that, like today, the first part of practice I was with the safeties, then I went with him at the second part with the corners. So he and I get together and collaborate on what we're going to do doing individual. He's watching the corners specifically. He does a lot of correction meetings with him. I do a lot of the install meetings. That's kind of how we do it. I let him do a lot of the correction tape. I do the installations. So we kind of just bounce ideas off each other. He's doing a really good job with him. He's been in the system. He's been here, I think, it's his 3rd year now. So he understands what he's doing.
What's the cross training like at this level during the spring? Like, how much are you guys doing it? Is it everybody, or is it just a handful of guys?
No, it's not. We got a lot of guys who came in, like you said, a lot of guys who transferred in, so I want them to master some first. But in the spring we play safeties left and right. We play corners left and right. We play some guys at safety and star, play some guys at corner and star. And the guys who've been here for a while, they can definitely do more. So yeah, we try to definitely cross train on sides for sure. Not as much at positions. With some guys we do, the guys who've been here, the more experienced guys. The younger guys, like the freshmen, try to let them learn corner, or safety, or star, but they will play both sides.
What is it about Jabbar that intrigued you guys so much? What about his skill set made you want him here?
Yeah, I mean, he's really competitive. He's got great ball skills, elite transitions, change of direction. He's a competitor. At the end of the day, anyone that we talk to about him, from his high school coaches to the coaches at Oklahoma State to some guys at Washington, they all talked about how much he competes and loves the game and goes about his process. And he's only been here for, this is his first week because of the new semester. But I mean, it's been a joy. And he did a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff over the course of the last few months.
What's the development for Taim from year 1 to year 2 now in the system?
The biggest thing I've seen of him is he's became an elite communicator. Taim's always been a really good tackler, loves football, warrior, tough. He's everything you would want in a football player. I think now in his 2nd year in the system, he's much more confident. He knows what we're going to install, before we do it. And he's just became an elite communicator and a leader. I think last year, coming in his 1st year here, he didn't say a whole bunch from a leadership standpoint, but I've heard him be more vocal this year, which is something that we need.
How much did some of the staff connections back to UTSA help with Cam and getting that evaluation?
I don't know as much. I know Antonio Parks was there before.
Right.
Will Stein was there, but I don't think he was there. I think he only played 1 season at UTSA. He was actually at Sam Houston State before that. So, but I think he just got in the portal, and once he got in, he had some options, and he came out here and visited. it's hard not to like this place. You come out and visit.
What about Cam's skill set kind of made him a good fit for your guys' system?
Yeah, he's really fast. First thing, he's fast. He's got really good ball skills. He's tough. I've seen him come up in these first 2 practices we've had in past, just thud people. I think he's going to be a tremendous asset to us. He's got really good change direction. And the other thing about him is he takes really good notes in meetings. Really good notes. Asks good questions. So he's been fun to coach.
You get a lot of young guys at the deep safety group in particular. What is that? How are the second and third groups kind of separating themselves so far, and who's kind of mixing with who and working with who? So
yeah, it's kind of hard to tell now. So in the spring and in fall camp, we really don't do 1s, 2s, and 3s. We do a green and yellow teams. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. So we do a green and yellow, mix guys up. So a lot of guys get reps. Taim will be with a freshman, et cetera, et cetera. Kobe's with a freshman. They haven't been together. So we just kind of mix the guys up and let them play. But I think the young guys have showed a lot of promise. Just me from last year coming in, first year in the system, learning the terminology. So I was in their shoes last year, and I've been around a whole lot more football than they have, obviously. I was like, man, I was kind of a little bit overwhelmed. And these guys are they're catching on really good. I think we've got a really good group. There's no one that I'm like, man, I hate we signed this guy. I like them all so far, and they've done a really good job, and they're smart, pretty smart kids, and they really should be in high school right now.
Do you expect Jaleel, or I know Rod is splitting it with track, do you expect much of them here in the spring, or is Jaleel just recovering?
We may get some out of him later on in the spring. He's out there now doing some of the walkthrough stuff with us, but that's about it right now. But I think his rehab's going pretty good now from talking to Chief and talking to Jaleel. He's in a much better space than what he was about a month ago. So I expect we may be able to get some out of him here at the end of spring.
What's the ceiling with Jaleel just coming off last year?
The ceiling? Oh, man, he's got a lot of potential. I mean, Jaleel's long. He's got changed direction. If he just can stay healthy, last year he got hurt, but I think he was starting to, play as a true freshman. Last year he was coming on, started a bunch of games, and then got injured. But I think that Jaleel's ceiling, he could be an NFL player. I mean, he's really good. I think so. He can tackle. He's pretty smart, honestly. He can play inside or outside. We did a little bit of that in practice last year, not as much in games. But I'm really high on Jaleel. We just got to make sure that he gets back healthy.
What's it been like for your group, kind of getting used to playing against Dylan Gabriel? Obviously left-handed, a little bit of skill set difference from Bo. What's it been like for you guys?
It's been good. I think I've been impressed watching Dylan. I had the opportunity to play against him at Tulane when he was at Central Florida. Really talented quarterback. I think our guys have accepted the challenge. Our offense every day gives us a challenge. I don't know where we were last year, 2 or 3 in the country in total offense. So every day it's a challenge, but I enjoy it. It makes us better because we see a variety of things from our offense. We got a lot of good players. So it's been good every day for us.
There's definitely guys added a corner in particular, allow you guys to do a little bit more in dime than you may have repped it last year, but we really didn't see it in games as much.
Yeah, I hope we can. That's kind of the hope, is that we can utilize these guys' skill sets. We got a bunch of them. We got some really good players. I'm really fired up about our corner group, and I think the more guys we can get on the field, the better. And I think it'll help us in pass coverage for sure.
With a lot of guys with experience between Dante, Nico, Sione comes in from Chico.
Yep.
How much separation do you want to see among that group? Would you prefer if they're all, I guess in an ideal world, they're all great, they're all packed in together, but do you want to see a separation clearly between them?
No, I think the competition is good for them. I think it's making them better, and each and every day they're working together, and there's not any animosity amongst them. I think they're competing at a high level against each other and making each other better. They're coaching each other. I think that the more the merrier. If you look at last season, guys get banged up throughout the season, and you're going to need them. You're going to need those fresh legs, and we plan on playing as many games as we can. I don't know how many you can go now, 15 or 16, I guess, a bunch of games. So you're going to need guys, and we've got a lot of talent and a lot of experience. We just got to, continue to develop them and get them to reach their maximum potential.
Last question.
Go ahead.
Where does Dal Austin kind of fit into the picture at this point?
Yeah, I tell you what, Dalen's having a really good spring. He really is. He can play star and he can play corner for us. He's doing both. Really fired up about his development and how he's getting better and better. I think he can have a big season for us. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right.